Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance, auto, renters and home insurance that's made to help the military community protect what they've worked hard for.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Call of Duty League. The stage is set, the games are ready to go, and boy do we have a lovely arena, a lovely place to call home for now. So we'll go and take a look at our CDL points presented by GameFuel. Cannot get away from that lovely LA skyline, but here we go. What Atlanta FaZe sitting at the top, and again, when we talk about these points right now, there is a lot of opportunity for some changes today in regards to our teams that are currently trying to make their way up the standings. Some teams have kind of started to falter down a little bit, but again, Standy, we talked about it, man. It is going to be a wonderful first day of action kicking things off here at our LAG Home Series. What, our first series, Dallas Empire versus the Florida Mutineers. Maybe a few weeks ago, it'd be easy to say Dallas going to take this, but now a much different story given the way that our last few weeks have looked, buddy.
Yeah, man, and the way that Florida just came off of the last week is 3-0 in OpTic. They destroyed them in that game. Slack was making such huge plays with that submachine gun. I'm looking forward to what he's able to do today versus Shotzzy and Huke.
That's a great call, man, and I feel like a lot of people haven't fully addressed the way that Slack has been playing. Had a great series versus Chicago, as you called it, and again, this Florida team has looked like a totally different beast. Well, we've been talking about this Mutineer roster. Let's go ahead and meet the group right now, our Florida Mutineers.
The dictionary defines redemption as the deliverance of persons or things from the possession and power of captors.
It is a 3-0 victory over the Florida Mutineers.
As the act of making something better. As the act of making up for a loss.
It is over, and that is a shocker for the Mutineers.
We define it as inevitable. You can count our KD. You can count our headshots. You can count our hill time. What you can't do is count us out.
Fear the deep indeed. The Florida Mutineers team, Standy, like we said, after their stage 2, week 2 performance is coming off a great kind of sequence of momentum right now for this group. I went back and looked at the stat quickly. Slack had a 1.13 in that series versus OpTic Chicago. What, man, it kind of seems to be more of a team effort as of lately out of the Mutineers.
Yeah, the Mutineers, just their teamwork in general is just on point recently. The search and destroy, Skies is going big. But in those clutch moments, in those respawns, Slack was always that submachine gun player who was always popping the two-piece, always rotating, making those early plays, making it open for his assault rifle players. He's just playing really well, and hopefully he's able to bring it today.
Yeah, a lot of questions on this Mutineers team in regards to hey, can they kind of keep this performance up now versus a top-tier team on the other side? Well, we talk about their opponents. It is going to be a stiff one as always. Dallas Empire have looked so good, and as of late, trying to get back on the right track. Let's go ahead and meet our defending world champions, the Dallas Empire.
Dallas Empire have smashed the gates open. Oh no, Huke is in, you mate. Oh, it's a shot punch. Oh no! Once again, they saved the day.
And there's a look at your Dallas Empire. Florida 2-0. Dallas, they go 1-1, beating Paris. And losing that round 10 game 5 versus the Minnesota Røkkr. The talk has kind of been on this team saying, hey, at times they look lost in search and destroy. We kind of talked about it at the top of the show. Buddy, are you looking at any player in particular for Dallas to have a big series today?
I'm looking at iLLeY, man. He had a great series in their last series versus the Røkkr. He was the only player over a 1.0. But in those search and destroys, where they're really struggling right now, a player of his caliber who's been tormenting me throughout my entire career in search and destroy, I need him to step up and be the playmaker today for their team.
Yeah, I don't know his exact stats right now in search and destroy, but they just have not been up to the par the way that you kind of expect. Let's go and get into our game fuel keys to victory here first for the Dallas Empire. We'll go and start things off, right? Huke needs to be in his best form today, especially versus a hot Florida team in that search and destroy and control. Right now, KD's in stage 2, not looking as great in the loss versus Minnesota, put up a .93. And then for Dallas, as we've been discussing it, improve in those search and destroys. A majority of those losses are from top teams, and at times, Study, they kind of look lost if they aren't finding those first bloods.
Yeah, no, it's really difficult for them to search and destroy, especially on a map like Checkmate. You always watch Huke go through that aLLeY. He's always finessing, throwing his shoulders, trying to get a first blood, and if he's not doing that, it's really difficult for them to win those search and destroys.
It is indeed. Now our game fuel keys to victory here for the Florida Mutineers. Study, what do you got?
Today needs to be a team effort, man. Overall, Team KD versus OpTic Chicago. Everybody was over a 1.0, and that's great to see, especially going up a team like the Dallas Empire. Come out hot and versus a great hardpoint team in Dallas. Mutineers, they have won the last 6 out of their last 8 opening hardpoints. Whenever they have done that, they have successfully been able to close out a series, and then also carry on that momentum. Just keep on riding through what you guys have been going on so far. There's a lot for this team, and they've been feeling really good. Hopefully they're able to bring it today as well.
Yeah, man, and I'm really interested to actually see the vetoes for this one. I know we talked about an intense series, the way this one is going to look, and what, buddy? What? Some good old Nuketown here in the maps and modes. We got Hardpoint, S&D control, and Hardpoint and S&D. So there you have it. I mean,
I can't.
What do you got?
There's so much. There's top green, top yellow, those window buildings. It's going to be so much, man. Points. It's going to be nonstop action the entire time. I can't believe these guys are throwing us this maps this early in the day.
Oh, we love you, CDL fam. I know we got a few of you. We got a few of you, all right? It's April Fools. Just, by the way, keep in mind, social media, a lot of jokes out there. So try to be careful. I'm sure we got a few of you. But let's go take out our real maps and modes. We got, triple checkmate, closing things out in Garrison, Hardpoint, and Express S&D if we can get to that game 5. We also see the map vetoes here. Study, what do you make out of our map vetoes in our official map set?
Well, I like the map vetoes to favor Dallas right here. You're going to start off with Checkmate, a map that they're currently 3-1 on, so they feel really good about that when you're going up against Florida, who are 1-3 on that map. So they're still trying to work out those kinks, but that Checkmate control is really where it's going to solidify this series for me. Both of these guys both have a 2-4 record, but if the Dallas Empire come to play today, if they win that search and destroy and push themselves 2-0 into that series going into that map, I feel like they close it out.
And I really want to kind of harp on that opening hardpoint because it has been kind of a specialty for both of our teams. You know what? Dallas Empire haven't looked great in search and destroy. The hardpoints have still been electric, man. I mean, I think they're beating teams right now on average 250 to like 177. So like they're still, without a doubt, performing in the hardpoints. It's just a matter of can they get it done in the search and destroy. So we'll see exactly what kind of goes down. I believe we're having a quick little disconnect and a player, unfortunately, leave the lobby. So we'll kind of be able to reflect back on this one. And when we talk about that opening checkmate hardpoint, Florida 1-3, Dallas are 3-1, and I want to say that was Florida's pick. So that kind of is one of the more interesting selections here for our map veto process. I know in checkmate control, that's kind of been Florida's playground. Maybe they're thinking, hey, we can kind of cater this now into that other respawn. Study, what do you make of that Florida pick for some good old checkmate hardpoint?
I like it, man. It all depends on how the assault rifles play, though. Awakening, we know what he's able to do. Big wake on the map. He's an absolute terror. But Skies as well. If them two are the 1-2 punch on this map, holding down those plane wings, just setting up their submachine guns to hit those flank, make the plays that Slack and Neptune are capable of making with those guns, they should be fine on this map. But I'm also really worried about that map number 4. We saw Dallas Empire play Paris on it. Paris were undefeated on that map, and they destroyed him on it. So if it does get to that map 4, Dallas Empire are really confident there.
Yeah, opening hardpoint really going to tell the tale of this series. So we're going to take a look at our quick scope presented by Scump. Again, when we take a look at the game 1, game 2 selections, really when you talk about game 1, game 4, game 2, whatever it is. Regardless, hardpoint, search and destroy, pretty much, I wouldn't say dominated right now. And the Dallas Empire, we're specifically referencing that hardpoint, search and destroy again, not been the greatest out of the Empire. Florida, it's slowly started to become an improving game mode for them. And we talked about that control, nearly even. Florida currently with the edge right now. They've been looking very good in control as of late. And I want to say, at least in regards to Røkkr, I believe they're third right now in the CDL. So that 7 and 4 will give them kind of a podium placement in regards to that control mode. But again, I think it's important to stress, man, that opening hardpoint, it's super, super important for this Florida Mutineer team, as they have won 6 out of their last 8 opening hardpoints. So an interesting selection here. Who knows? Maybe they got something tricky up their sleeve for the Empire.
They might, man. But I was just looking at that S&D stat, 9-11 for the Empire, and we were talking about it yesterday. A lot of those losses came from Atlanta FaZe and the Minnesota Røkkr. So if you're one of these other teams, you just got to basically study what those guys are doing in those maps and take them down with ease, man. But if you're the Dallas Empire, like I said, man, search and destroy, you need to improve, needs to be better.
I swear that Sky just took a picture of his screen. I don't know what's going on right now, but who knows? We love good old Caesar Skies. But let's go and take a look at our Group B standings. Again, this is going to be a graphic. This is going to be kind of in the back of our minds throughout a majority of today. But we see Dallas currently leading, well, at least in regards to current map positioning. We got 2 and 1 right now for Dallas, Surge, and Mutineers. As we go down the list, again, kind of one of the more interesting ones is OpTic's positioning, currently 1 and 2. I don't know what their series coming up versus the Surge later should be quite interesting, right? OpTic, I think having the ability to lose that series would put them in the losers bracket. We'll obviously get confirmation on all the storylines, all the mixtures, things of that nature, because this Group B, man, it's been one to remember. I mean, so far, and I know we've only had this is our second stage, but without a doubt the craziest group that we have seen as of yet, and that's just kind of what caters to the level of competition that everybody's at right now.
Yeah, man, the Group B is insane, man, from top to bottom. Every single team from that stage 1, like the Mutineers, like the Surge, who didn't really start hot, they have just been improving every single game, and they are looking like one of those teams who can eventually contend with the top dog. As long as they continue to improve, this group is completely stacked. Every single match is going to matter down to the wire, and hopefully between Dallas Empire and OpTic, our final game, which is going to be our game fuel matchup on Sunday, hopefully that has a lot more importance to it.
Yeah, that's a great call, man. I mean, in terms of if you're kind of an OpTic fan right now, you're just kind of rooting for teams like the Empire to lose, because when you face off against them, who knows, maybe it gives you a better chance. There's just so many different scenarios. It's funny, me and our stats guy Tyler, who, by the way, shout out to Tyler, he has been dealing with all kinds of questions from me. Like I've been throwing, I'm like, hey, what happens in this scenario? What happens in that scenario? What if this team beats that team? They lose? Yeah, he's just been dealing with a lot of my jargon back and forth. So shout out to him. But it really is kind of a lot of different situations where not a whole lot is guaranteed right now. So really, if you are a fan of a certain team, if you're a player on one of these rosters as well, it's just, hey, we just got to win, right? That's really the story at the end of the day. Just look forward, look at the opponent you're facing off against on the other side, and just do your best really to try and take them down. As folks, we are getting ready to hop in this hard point. No worries. We're just making sure everything is all good, smooth, ready to go. These matches are so important. We just got to make sure everybody is nice, ready, and suited. But I tell you what, man, I want to kind of gauge back to those map vetoes. And I know there is one kind of interesting stat that we were talking about earlier as soon as the vetoes kind of were released to us, is that back-to-back-to-back checkmate, right? Dallas has had a lot of opportunities to play on this map. We talked about, again, in their hardpoint, how great they've looked in control. It's been fine as well. But overall, right now, in checkmate anything, Dallas has a 7-2 record. Again, I know it's a different-looking Florida roster right now. Again, they're coming off of an excellent week. There's no denying that. But when not only you give them search and destroy and control, but you pick that opening hardpoint, I mean, how big is that if you are Florida, right? Because you're saying, hey, we're picking this map, we're confident in our ability versus a team who's looked great on checkmate anything. How important do you think that is just for the Florida mentality, considering that, again, they have a very, very good map overall, no matter the mode, for the other side?
You could just tell that the practice on the side of Florida is starting to work. They're starting to feel more confident in this map. So confident that they're going to be playing Dallas Empire on it, which is their best hard point. So they just want to punch them in the mouth right early into this series, man. They want to start off 1-0. They know that they're weak at search and destroy, so they're going to try to take it there and potentially close it out on that map number 3, where both of these guys are currently sitting 2 and 4 on that checkmate control. It's just, they're trying to come out hot, man. They're trying to show out. They're trying to do the thing versus the Dallas Empire on this map #1.
And obviously, we're going to have checkmate for a while. That very well could be our only map of this entire series if we do see a 3-0, which I'm not rooting for, by the way. I don't think anybody's rooting for a 3-0 unless you are a diehard fan of the Mutineers or Empire, which I'm sure there's quite a few of you out there. But, I mean, what, man? I think when we talk about a map like checkmate, again, it's going to be that AR battle, right? It's a very long-range map. You're really looking at those Krig players to really put up a very high-tier performance as we take a look at the Mutineer players. Those two guys, right? Skies and Awakening, the dynamic duo. It kind of seems that as of late, it has kind of been one of them going off, the other one having kind of an okay performance. But I tell you what, man, if you can see Awakening and Skies both showing up the way that we have in spurts, right? We've seen some amazing highlights out of Awakening. We've seen some incredible moments out of Skies. And on the other end, right, if you can see a great performance from Crim as he's been showing us recently and get that solid performance out of iLLeY, I don't know, man. It would not surprise me whatsoever if we do see a Game 5, especially if our 4 kind of primary ARs are going off the way that they have been lately.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the hardpoint because I was just remembering back into my mind when Dallas played Paris. Paris were beating them on Garrison by like 100 points. With Dallas Empire, they were able to chain 4 hardpoints together after that. So that's where they can get scary on a map like Checkmate, because if they're just winning their rotation, winning those gunfights, they can start putting some of these together and eventually closing on the map a lot sooner. But we're going to hop into this Checkmate. Let's go, Lando. Week number 3, showtime, baby.
It is showtime. What we got? A great series to start things off. Florida Mutineers taking on the Dallas Empires. Off to Checkmate we go, and really Checkmate is where we're going to stay as guys finding that first blood toward the top side of the map. And you see Awakening with that sub out has something sneaky in mind as he'll find 3 off the rip. And that is the perfect way to start things off if you are Florida. A clean 4 down, and with that push up toward the top side of the plane, that's also going to give them the spawns. You could not ask for a better start there out of the Mutineers.
You cannot, but here comes Shotzzy through the backside. He was able to take down 1 Slack with the trade. So far, the Mutineers have played this first hardpoint beautifully. They get all 4 kills. They flip the spawn. Now it's looking like the only player in a position to try to take him off this time is going to be Awakening, but he's going to drop. The remaining 15 seconds should go in favor of the Dallas Empire. If you're Florida, though, you don't want to die in this situation. You don't want to flip out, and that's exactly what's going to not happen, as a couple kills are still going in their favor.
And nice shots coming in from Skies. This has another opportunity to try to take one down onto Crim. But again, it's that rotation. Skies, the ARs right now playing well despite Awakening rocking out that SMG. So we'll kind of keep that in mind. How often do we see that 74U get put into place? But good call, Stud. Dallas, they knock on the door, and no one from the Mutineers is there to answer. As we've been talking a lot about Florida, they finally get the great break. How wonderful of a position that this could be for them. But nothing answering as Dallas finally going to get somebody back on the HP, but they're sitting in a good spot to grab this remaining time.
Sitting in a great spot, man. They broke that with about 50 seconds left on the clock, so they've been able to take this lead. They potentially have the chance to take the remaining 20 seconds here to grow this lead a little bit. See Huke, he's trying to work around the front tube side. Shotzzy's going to take down 1, Huke's going to take down the second. So now you're going to start seeing the players from Dallas Empire starting to push up, trying to force those spawns behind them, but 2 players are going to drop, and now they have to work double the trouble, try to break into the Speed 3 hardpoint now that Florida are fully set up.
And this could be a difficult one to hold. And I will say, as of late, I think kind of P3 hasn't looked as bad as it did to kind of start off the year. I know there's a lot of conversations in comparison to like how Hackney hardpoint played last year, how there was a lot of hardpoints that were hard to hold, and kind of progressively as time went on, it kind of became easier. Teams kind of managed to figure out what angles to hold, trying to figure out timings, etc. But right now, Dallas in a good spot, but Neptune is there to try to change things up as he'll fall. Skies is there for the trade, and really just a good performance on the recovery from the Mutineers. Again, they lose that P2 rotation off of what looked to be a good spot for them, but possibly able to even up the game as Skies drops through a street. And now we'll hop in to the comms of the Florida Mutineers with our Astro listening.
Still on you.
Not peeking hill.
Shotzzy down. No one deep on me. Help me time.
And
then no one deep off.
You're under right. I hit him once on hill.
He may go plan on you up or holding the Woodsters.
Right,
so. Right, Crim. Blow left. He's on you, kind of weak. It looks like he pushed the bar side. Top point, Shotzzy playing. I want
Alright, they're behind I'm cutting off.
Oh yeah, midpoint in the... They're both on hill. Wait, one person hill. Yo, both ball banks.
Watch out, fork. Another one front tube. Front tube weak. Fork is weak.
They're up,
Need me point.
Top your side.
What's the plan on me?
Our side, dead.
I need him. I need one.
Close, good, dead.
Nice, dude.
I'm gonna shot him one side. There is side in the air.
Crim one side. Crim weak side.
Waste bumpers to hill.
Stay alive. No, there's
We're
no.
top left.
Need hill.
One plane.
They're gonna go right. They're gonna start right. I'm
I
trying
want
to
our side hill.
There's 2 hit, 1
Top right,
plane.
Come here, aLLeY, shot on.
One shot exit, Shotzzy. One there shot on me, guys.
I'm waiting.
Hey, your box left, sure.
Exit right corner. Exit weak. Shit.
They're shot on me.
Up mold. Go right. We got shit right.
Top right. Make sure you guys hold right. We're missing a
Still
few.
right. He's still deep right.
They're doing We're missing Shotzzy, Kyler, and fucking. Top lane. One shot, Kyler. One shot, top lane.
I'm in new, boys.
Top plane.
I'm waiting in new.
I'm coming to you. Shotzy's at old. Shotzy's back left.
Yo, he's gonna exit.
There's gonna be multiple left.
Push two. He's front wood.
Yo, weak.
One shot. Yeah, Charlie.
Going in front of me. Exit door.
Front.
Nice.
They're in the back.
Good shit. Front.
Easy. In
I
hill.
spawned.
Mill Crim, a little weak. Behind the pillar.
Near the pillar.
He's pillar.
Challenging. Dead. Want to be wood window.
And wood.
I need it back left.
One stop plane. Side wood. One
Back left.
What steps?
I'm not sure wood window.
Behind me, bottom wing, Kyler. Bottom plane. I don't see what steps. I'm
Grab two.
I just want to back.
Go on the right. He's going low right. Trying to push
Backward, wood, half. I flip. Half all dead. Last guy.
Easy. Still.
Study, normally I ask you at this point, what do you make of the Mutineers' communication? But really at this point, it doesn't matter, right? Dallas Empire, the way that they're able to chain those last few hills, how great was that, my man?
Yeah, man. Like every time that the Mutineers, they were trying to set up early for a hard point, Dallas immediately broke in within the first 10 to 15 seconds. And that's why Dallas still have this lead going into this next rotation of hard points. They've just been able to break it, man. Mutineers, they have to do a better job of just holding a push or two on this second rotation of hard points. And right now, they're getting some time off of P1 hard point. They're only going to be down about 30 points. Kills still going back and forth. But they're fighting right now, man. You see number 2, he's still trying to keep those spawns for them towards that P2 side as well. Sky's going to open up with 2. That's going to slow down push from the Dallas Empire once again.
Yeah, that's great time inside of the plane, and also I think it was Skies who made his way up toward that P2 yellow crate. He wins a big fight, and really from there, it's just the trades from the Mutineers that allow for them to hold on to those spawns coming into our next rotation over at P2. So some big fights. You notice a lot of players, and shout out to our observers for highlighting it, a lot of players not really focused on that inside of the plane fight, rather on the outskirts, as Huke able to burst his way through that yellow crate. Slacked, he's given the information, he has given the intel, and the Mutineers will be able to find the first player who tried to get himself behind enemy lines. Empire with the lead, the Mutineers in a great position to change things up as the onslaught coming in from pretty much every single angle, and Neptune trying to dodge every single nade he can. That's the first line of defense down as Dallas, they find 3.
Dallas find 3 once again, man. I told you. They just break immediately. Last player alive in this position is going to be Skies, able to take down 2, going for the 3rd. It's going to be another one on him, but Shotzzy's going to be able to get the trade and eventually get the 2nd. So now the Dallas Empire once again break into another hill. With about 45 seconds left, they're trying to get this remaining time and just increase that lead. They're only up by about currently 10 points. But that was a great break from Dallas.
It was.
Now, what do Florida do in this situation? They have to set up the rotation for P3 now.
Yeah, man, it was a great break coming in from Dallas, and I feel like with all the time that we've kind of highlighted them, it's kind of surprising to me to see that Dallas is only up by about 20 points right now. Very well could be in a much different spot, given what Florida kind of performs on P1 these last few hills, and then P3 last time around. So getting some spidey time, but Shotzzy, that's going to be 6 in a row for him. As he'll look to clear out one of the mini lanes here in Checkmate. Pretty wide open, but the 74U has come out to play as the streaks will be earned from Shotzzy. That's going to be 1. Can he find the cruise? And just before he dies, that is going to be double streaks for Dallas. So, but they're grabbing some good seconds, at least making things competitive in preparation for a streak. While there is going to be a flank inbound from Slack, he drops. aLLeY's winning some nice fights up close as well. But again, it really kind of has to be focused in on those streaks that Shotzzy are able to earn with that 7-8 spree. As now we head back to A Street. Dallas Empire nearing ever closer to that 200-point mark.
And the Mutineers need to get a good hold, but here comes Shotzzy once again on the flank side. No, this time it's going to be Huke. Huke's going to have a big engagement onto the point. He's going to go for it, but he's going to get traded by Neptune. So now Neptune and the Mutineers are going to be fully set up for that P4 hardpoint. It's all about just trying to hold them. Dallas Empire, they've been able to break in, and Shotzzy's going to try to send it off with the cruise missile nice and early. Here comes the angle, right into the point. Nothing's going to connect. Neptune's going to get one with the nades of the Mutineers. They're just trying to hold for it as long as they can.
And a great job from them to avoid the cruise missile. Granted, a nice angle coming in from Shotzzy, as he does win the fight versus Neptune, but the Mutineers pretty much play things spread. And Awakening with that kind of backside push should secure the spawns for next, as that's going to be a nice wipe. Regardless, those guys still spawning toward that back red side. So again, it's been these breaks from Empire. Again, A-Street, not as much to highlight, but in general, they're going to be, if they're able to hold this remaining time, they're going to be in a good position, but maybe around 235 once this hardpoint is done and dusted. Rather, 225, excuse me. But still, Florida in need of a break regardless of what that score says. You just see they're at 200 plus. You've got to be on your A game. Last time around, Dallas, they were able to find the necessary kills, get the amount of players down that were needed. But Awakening shuts down that early push, as now he's sitting on 3 in a row. Falls from the plane, and of course, it's Shotzzy doing it.
I did not like that artillery strike out of Shotzzy right there. I would like if they got a couple kills in their favor, but as I say that, 3 are going to drop. Here comes 2 players from the Mutineers spawning out on the backside. Now you're going to see the Dallas Empire trying to locate these players in wood. Big wins coming in from the players on the Mutineers. 3 go down now for the Empire. 190 to 225. 30 seconds still remaining. Huke trying to do everything he can to get these guys off to this point, but the Mutineers, they're doing it. They're fighting back into this one. 3 go down once again. They should be able to get this remaining 20 seconds. It's all going to go down in this P1 hardpoint here pretty soon, Lando.
It is indeed Dallas, most likely waving the white flag, heading back inside of that top plane. I guess it's kind of one of the advantages that you do have if you're the Empire. They also are going to be set up quite nicely for P2. So while the Florida Mutineers have been able to hold on, they have to continue to play great COD to make sure that they put themselves in a good spot down the stretch. But here we go. Focus going to be on the Mutineers. Neptune ends up falling inside of the plane. Awakening now on the outside. He drops as well. Looking at Skies, 37 and 28. We called him out. We said, hey, we need a big performance out of Cesar Bueno, but unfortunately 3 drop again for the Empire. Less than 20 seconds away from closing out this opening HP. Slack, he's been the playmaker. The veteran tries to make his way inside. He drops as well. Neptune falls. The Mutineer players are falling like flies outside of the plane. Just a few more seconds before this one is done and dusted. Can anybody get to the point in time? And the opening HP, once again, goes to the Empire.
Man, every time that the Mutineers were set up for a hardpoint, the Dallas Empire, they just continuously broke in the first 15 seconds. That's the only reason why they were able to win this game. Those breaks, those setups from the Mutineers are what costed them in that one. And it came down to the wire, man. It was such a great first map. Dallas Empire to walk away with that. Just winning those rotations, winning those gunfights when they needed to the most.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, if you're the Florida Mutineers, we talked about it. They're the ones who picked that map despite not having a great record added. Now 1-4 in checkmate hardpoint. What Dallas now improves to 4-1. Again, kind of an odd call. You liked a few of the moments, but again, like you called it, it was those rotations. It was almost as if they called it. They made a kind of a blind counter in regards to the map vetoes, but this time around, it does not work out. Again, we'll talk about Search and Destroy up next. That could be a totally different story, but what, man? Sky's putting in an excellent performance. What, nearly 6,700 damage, was 38 and 30 on the other side. For me, kind of one of the major highlights, and I actually had the chance to interview this guy not too long ago. Shotzzy finishes plus 10, 33 kills. Crazy. I said, hey, you know what? You've not really had kind of the same performance that we saw you have last year. It's kind of been Huke's show. And he said, you know what, man? I'm just improving. I'm just trying to play my game. And over time, you know, I can maybe see that kind of same increase that I saw after the first few months in MW. But all signs clear right now for Dallas. Search and Destroy hasn't been all that clear for them, as we'll have that next one over on some good old checkmate as Florida v Dallas continues right after this break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenni, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenni.com/gaming.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Los Angeles Guerrillas Home Series. It has been a great start to the day up to this point. Dallas Empire versus the Florida Mutineers. Dallas take that opening hardpoint on checkmate, again kind of improving in those checkmate hardpoints, but now the focus comes to search and destroy. What study kind of in the opener, we hit on it a lot. Dallas Empire, as we take a look at their search and destroy comparisons from 2020. Now into 2021, again, different titles, 5v5 to 4v4. What are your thoughts as we take a look at their stats?
Yeah, 5v5 to 4v4 is a big difference. They also had Clayster, who was an unbelievable search and destroy player. So during those crucial moments, I was expecting him to be the play caller, to go out there and throw his life away to set up his teammates. And that's what's not happening here. Obviously, 4v4, it's a little different. It's not really working out for them now. Hasn't been that bad, but it can be a lot better.
Yeah, we talked about it too, right? I think, I forget their exact search and destroy record right now. I think it's like 9-11, if my mind serves me right.
Yeah.
I want to say a majority of those losses, like what, 7, 8 of those 11 losses do come from teams like Atlanta and Minnesota. But again, when we have seen them face off, okay, great, stats are right there. Okay, my bad. Thank you, stats team. 0-8 versus Minnesota and Atlanta, so we do get the confirmation there. So that is something to kind of take note of. Despite what is kind of, you know, their lack of performance versus two of the better search and destroy teams in the game, obviously Atlanta sitting firmly at that number one spot. I feel like at times, though, there is still some things to grab, right? From their search and destroy performance, guys like Zuma and others have kind of gone on to kind of break down what has been their search and destroy performance, and it just seems at times like the play calling isn't there. As you talked about it, Clayster last year was kind of that guy for them. When we talk about checkmate search and destroy, I feel like there is still some life out of this Empire team. We talk about the staff, right? Rambo, the entire group here, they're going to unite. And they've got Fellow, who's kind of considered like their assistant coach. We talk about his ability in search and destroy, obviously. I think there is still a lot of room for improvement with the Empire, but I think, like you said, it kind of comes down to that play calling, maybe even that communication once the rounds start to kind of come through.
Yeah, man, and the one player that I'm expecting to step up big in this series, especially on a map like this, is going to be iLLeY. Yeah. We saw him versus NYSL in the beginning of the year. He jumped out and challenged Clayster out of the plane, and that's not the plays that we expect him to make. I want iLLeY to be that player that's making those plays. We know what Huke's able to do on this map, flanking with A side with that submachine gun, but iLLeY needs to be that search and destroy player for this roster if they want to succeed.
And I know, like,
he just has so much potential.
He does. And I feel like, you know, when we did discuss that, you know, transition from MW to Cold War, I know, again, the 5v5 to 4v4, without a doubt, makes a huge difference. We talked about the gameplays, the guns, the maps, everything. But iLLeY's search and destroy performance just really hasn't been there, right? I think, it's a 0.7977, somewhere around there. Just not what you expect out of this guy. Again, I know you talked about it earlier, about how he's been causing havoc. He has been, kind of taking money out of the pockets of every pro since he was, 13, 14, 15 years old. He has been a menace in that mode, and I think we're all just waiting for him to finally erupt, and maybe, like I said, it could be this series versus the Mutineers.
And they need it, man. They need it. They need a good search and destroy win underneath their belt. Not a 6-5, not a 6-4. You need to go out there and win it 6-1, 6-2, and basically dominate the rounds that you're winning. If you're losing the rounds, that means you're getting put in 1v4 situation or something like that. But they need to come out and they need to dominate the search and destroy. Start building confidence in their S&D game to eventually try to take down one of those big dogs in that game mode.
Yeah, we talked about it too, right? Their last 5 wins, talking about Dallas Empire, their last 5 wins in search and destroy have come from that round 11. I mean, what does that kind of tell you about the team right now in regards to that mode?
That just means that every single round is down to the wire. Sometimes their pushes are getting shut down. They don't have a mid-game adjustment to try to change it up. Or they just don't have that many strats developing on the map. But I think that's an absolute lie because their coach is Rambo Ray, the GOAT. He taught me everything I know about Call of Duty, so he has these guys prepared for every situation. But just hopefully they're able to bring it today, man.
Now, one interesting point to reference in regards to the Mutineers, in every series that they have lost that Game 2 search and destroy. So that is a big moment for them. They have really kind of dominated in these opening sequences. Again, they lose the opening HP. Now, what? They were 6 of 8. Now they're 6 of 9 in opening hardpoints. Search and destroy needs to be a victory here for Florida. As again, based off of statistics, which always aren't going to tell every single bit of the story, but 2-0 for Dallas. You like their chances to close things out into control. But here we go. Opening round of offense for Dallas, and it's Skies with the opening pick.
So now Dallas are in a 3v4 situation, a minute left on the clock. They know where Skies is located. Gonna see Crimsix try to hit some great shots on the Tetris. The only thing is, there is not gonna be a trophy on the map. So Huke, he's found the opening. They're gonna push him out, but Skies is gonna win a huge one-on-one. That's 2 on the round. Shotzzy with the trade. So now it's a 2v3 situation. They're committing to Skies. They're able to take him down. Now it's Crimsix in a 1v2, but he's gonna drop. Just like that, the Mutineers are gonna hold on their very first defensive round. Skies with a great 2-piece from Tetris to able to close that round out.
Yeah, great plays. Coming in from Skies as we get to kind of, like I said, watch this best play, finds a huge pick, and really from there, Dallas trying to focus hardcore on what was the thorn in their side, never able to find it. Despite finding that first blood, Dallas do lose the opening round. Never easy, right, when we talk about, offense on checkmate, whether it's search and destroy or control, but now we'll see what Florida has in mind. Skies 74U out, switches quickly, now back to that Krig. As they look for the double challenge over at P2, nothing doing. Prim, that little side angle does get some information. Really looking through every single bit of information they can grab. There's nobody yet to drop.
So far, Florida just taking their time. Awakening with great shots on the Crimsix. The trophy finally comes in, so that's going to save his life. But iLLeY, the playmaker, able to open up with the first blood. So now, Florida are in a situation where they need to work a bomb plant. 45 seconds, but iLLeY's going to win a second gunfight onto Skies. We were talking about this guy needs to step up and search and destroy. This is a great way to start fueling that momentum. 2v4 situation now with 30 seconds remaining. What can the Florida players do?
2 versus 4. Again, iLLeY causing problems toward this A street. Awakening's able to snag him, but it's Huke there with the trade. So, at the very least, as iLLeY drops, he at least sets up his teammate. Heavily involved in this round number 2 as it all falls on to Slacked. 12 seconds left. Granted, he's got that QBZ as Dallas do line up, but just too many bodies, too many players. Empire, they're able to level it. And much like we thought, it's iLLeY with the best play of the round. And what a big 2-piece this was, given the timing and given the positioning for where those Florida players were, Study.
Yeah, and we usually see players like Huke from the Dallas Empire making plays like that. And the fact that iLLeY was on the opposite side of the map, being the iLLeY player at that A site by himself, he makes the play, and that's what you expect him to do in those situations. Job well done there.
And I want to actually bring up another really interesting stat. Shout out to Round 11 Stats, by the way. Always, scouring throughout social media. And I don't know if this has been the case yet. It actually may have changed. I'm not sure, but I think Dallas have yet to win a round in Search and Destroy after Crimsix has been first blooded. Like, how crazy of a stat is that? So when Crim has been first blooded, Dallas have not won a single round. So just something to kind of keep in mind. I'm not sure if that's changed as of yet. I forget exactly how the opening breaks have looked. Just know that, again, when they don't have that veteran presence, how big of a deal that does start to influence things. I know I saw a stat again the other day about how unlikely these A plants are. Maybe a handful so far throughout the CDL, as Dallas, again, trying to change the narrative in regards to those stats, throwing them out the window. As again, that push toward A Street has started to slow things down. Awakening firing nearly every bullet out of that Krig as the last one lands. Instant shots again coming in from Shotzzy. Switches off the 74U for a good old Krig. It's working out well. As the opening engagement, the ARs start to come forward. Krem, he gets sandwiched. And now it's Florida with man advantage.
Now it's going to be left up to Shotzzy in a 1v3 situation. Positioning out of Awakening there, able to take him down. That was just a great defensive hold right there out of Florida. They didn't give any of the Dallas Empire players any information. Awakening, I'm pretty sure that put him on 3 on the round. He was single-handedly holding down that A site. But the thing about that is, Lando, that A bomb plant, we've only seen it 4 times. 4 times since the beginning of the year. 4 times that bomb has been planted at A. I highly doubt we're going to see it today. But if the Dallas Empire are able to pull that one off, it'll be a miracle.
That's insane, man. 4 times. And I don't know if we're going to see it happen in this series, especially after the way that Dallas started to falter. Yeah, they had a nice start, nice attempt, but Nothing doing. Quickly into the cabin we go, and trades back and forth. Dallas winning out for now. Slack does manage to accrue the bomb after what has been a very interesting start. But actually, he drops, so bomb now still sitting up top. Crim there with the pick. And now it all falls on to Caesar. Good old Skies, 1 versus 3. Again, he has been so good in this series, but you get put in these spots, never going to be easy. Crim does get shot through the wall, so now a 1 versus 2. Shotzzy goes for the challenge for information. A nice nade, to put it lightly, but guys will go around the corner. One player might have spotted him. I want to say it was Huke that maybe looked outside that wing, but regardless, they're just going to play back-to-back. You like the positioning here out of that SMG duo, putting the AR in what should be a very difficult spot. I'm starting to tick away, grabs the bomb. They hear the information. Can Skies start to line them up? And unfortunately, had a good opportunity there, Study, but it's the SMGs who went out. A 1v3 for not out of Skies.
Yeah, Skies tried his best, man. He had some great shots on the Crimsix there, but Skies knew he's going up against Shotzzy and Huke. These guys are the sub duo. They're just going to be standing right next to each other, so you got to play for the 2-piece. Fortunately, both players challenged at the same time, able to take him down. There was a lot of trades in that plane. iLLeY opened up the first blood, Shotzzy with the trade. Good defensive hold right there out of the Empire. Now they're going into their offensive push. Will they try to work slow towards A once again? Will they try to be aggressive in plane? It's looking like Shotzzy's trying to take some early control in towards that plane area.
It's what you want to see if you're a Dallas fan, right? Shotzzy making his way quickly up the plane. Same thing over toward that A street for both Huke and Crim, as there's the first blood from Shotzzy. On the other side, there's Huke. That SMG dynamic duo causing havoc. As again, it's Skies. And wasn't I just in the situation just 30 seconds ago? Another 1v3 for Skies, as there we have it. Dallas Empire, another round, and they're second in a row.
Yeah, they're just being aggressive, man. They're matching the aggression. See Shotzzy, no hesitation, pushes towards that back steps. Huke is able to win a gunfight on street. Then once Awakening gets a kill from his top wing, he's immediately traded by Shotzzy. They're just playing at a different pace right now, and it's really working for them, especially on these offensive pushes.
Yeah, man, like I said, when you talk about that dynamic duo of Shotzzy and Huke, again, Huke has just had an unbelievable performance.
Scary.
Really kind of throughout this entire game. He's talked about how he loves grinding this game. Again, we talked about Shotzzy. You know, can we have him start to kind of return back to form? By no means a bad season, but just not the same level. The way that he's performed in that last hardpoint and so far throughout this search and destroy has been great to see. As 6-2 sitting on the 4 spree. Florida now back on offense as they look to make their way up toward A Street as well. iLLeY with quite a bit of fire toward his backside as he'll just manage to get on out of dodge. Somewhat of a more passive setup now for Dallas. Is not a whole lot of control over toward that P2. As iLLeY, man, that rotated now over back toward Tube. Trying to grab the visuals, and I'm just waiting for that 5th plant to possibly go down from Slack, but again, nothing doing, no information being given yet out of the Empire, as they're just looking to play this one as carefully as they can, but there's the pick, Neptune with 2.
No. If you're iLLeY there, you cannot commit to that challenge right there. No bullets are into that guy, but here comes Shotzzy trying to load the players down. Now it's left in a 1v3 for Huke. He's gonna drop. But that round is on iLLeY right there. Crimsix, he dies from that left alley. iLLeY, I understand his play. He's trying to go for the trade, but no bullets are in Neptune. Neptune easily read this play. Once you slide there, it's basically impossible to not give him your positioning. Neptune makes the play happen.
Now what gets the hat-trick in this round? Obviously finds 3, gets some visuals there on the Huke at the latter part of the round, but I mean, you called it well, man, right? Gets the read, gets the good information. You knew that iLLeY was kind of that one island player toward that backside of A. And they're really able to mess with him, right? They know that there's going to be one player position there. They find the right timing, and again, how great has Neptune been for the Mutineers, especially in Search and Destroy, which is without a doubt been his best mode. I even remember to start off opening weekend, it was Checkmate, where he was kind of surprising people, teaching some people on a few cheeky movements outside of the plane.
He was 1v3, and he was ninja diffusing. He was doing the whole
That's right.
On the map like Checkmate, man. This is his playground right here.
Good reason, the young gun soaring in Checkmate, but again, all level at 3-3. Dallas, we've seen a lot of attempts over at this A side, as Awakening maybe finally getting an understanding of that this A push may be all for naught. And really based off the reads, we talked about Dallas. It is always Huke at that A Street, ready to make the play. Awakening does not want to leave that positioning. Slower offensive look here for the Empire. Shotzzy able to slow things up. Neptune again, finding a force spree of his own, but does get shut down from iLLeY. So now with 3 versus 3, and Shotzzy with the bomb is going to make the play. That tactical goes right over his head. And on the flank we go. Can Slack find him? He does. So now back to a 2 versus 2. Bomb down in the center of the plane. And there goes Awakening. And can Slack
just got to keep him off bomb.
Can he lock this one up? Again, has to go for the plant. iLLeY with the digits. Can Slack make the play? Finds the first. Instantly goes for the challenge. Can iLLeY win the fight? And iLLeY does! A huge play from iLLeY. Has to plant the bomb. Slack working with mere seconds as Crim, despite the body sacrifice, the collar giving up his life as iLLeY just with the last bullet. You see how low he was on HP there, Study.
Yeah. That was just the play iLLeY needed to make there, man. Slack knew exactly what he needs to do in that situation, was win that first gunfight and eventually get the guy off bomb. But iLLeY with some great movement there, able to get that bomb plan off, come back with the Craig, and win such an insane 1v1 to put his team up now 4-3. They're going to go on a defensive hold now. If you're iLLeY, play your life. Currently on the 3 speed, try to work towards some streaks, but it's looking like they're getting nice and aggressive towards that A Street, nice and early.
And that aggression has worked out so well for Empire as Huke dropping the first, clearing out the A Street. But again, they are going to free up plane. So Mutineers can quickly realize this. They'll see, hey, we got this entire portion of the map locked down. We might as well go ahead and rock out that objective. As again, Empire 4 strong, still hanging around as Crim, again, not the greatest performance, but again, hitting the shots right when he needs to. The sprees only continue for the Empire as Slacked once again in a clutching position, a much more difficult one at that. And who other than iLLeY to put in the final bullets as the Empire now find themselves up 5-3.
I love the adjustments right there out of the Empire. They were like, all right, this guy's gone A Street too many times. He shot us in the side. We haven't been able to trade him or nothing. Let's just fully hit that out, take control of that. They're working really slow towards plane. They're always going to think someone on defense is going to be in that plane area. But unfortunately, they open the first blood. And you see Crimsix wrap back, able to get 2. Just great plays out of the Empire. Good mid-game adjustments from them to put themselves up 5-3 now.
Yeah, and iLLeY now sitting on 5 in a row. We'll see if that actually ends up mattering in regards to how this round will play out. But yeah, if you're Mutineers, you're watching back that search and destroy round and you're thinking, hey man, we just got to go for the plant in that spot. Huke, all out aggressive, does get brought down. Starts to on back to the team. Shotzzy firing some bullets through, just trying to keep that presence inside of the cabin. Ultrays in their upright position. Mutineers have got to prepare. Dallas trying to land this plane. Mutineers trying to keep it alive, trying to keep it afloat. Early picks going to be important. Skies tries to find it. A solid start to the game, but he's not had a great last few rounds. Trying to be that one piece toward that box side. Slack looks for the peak. First player tries to go for the engagement. Huke does find Skies, so it will be a trade. Now on to a 3 versus 3.
Now with a 3v3, see the Dallas Empire players pushing through the street. Shotzzy's going to walk right by one, but Awakening's going to read it. Awakening with 2. Big gunfight onto Crimsix, all up to iLLeY in a 1v2 situation. Bomb is going to be down on his back steps. Neptune is still in a great position. He's going to hear the bomb be picked up there, so he has the information that the bomb is going to be in iLLeY's hands. 12 seconds remaining. Is he going to try to pull off a miracle plant? No, he's going to try to go right back in this plane. No plant is going to come in. He has to play for both kills. It's not going to happen. The Florida Mutineers set up perfectly. He's going to go for the first engagement, but Awakening able to walk away with that one. Huge 2-piece out of Awakening. Third, ending the round right there. It all came out of the position that he was in. Big gunfight went on to Crimsix right there to put themselves down. 1 round. Now we're going to round number 10.
Round number 10, baby. Saddle up, folks.
Number 10, baby.
We're in Los Angeles, but who cares? I feel like I look like a cowboy today. You know, I'm just rocking the full-on, jean shirt. Oh, good. Awakening, by the way. 3 in a row, 8-6. No surprise for him, leading his team right now. A massive double kill that really just kind of halts what could have been an ending sequence for the Dallas Empire. Will we see them go to another round 11? It's possible. I'm hoping for it, possibly. But here we go. Florida on the offense. Of course, when we talk about checkmate defense typically wins out, but in the case so far throughout this bad boy, iLLeY, a huge pick again toward that A Street. At times we've seen him start to falter, but here they come. They begin to line up. That's going to be 2 for Huke. All comes down to skies and no bueno as Dallas Empire closing out the search and destroy in a round 10. Not a round 11 here, Study, but a round 10 as Huke was there to make the play.
I just love how they changed those mid-game adjustments, man. They opened up with the first blood. They seen a couple players from the Mutineers in the position that they were in. And Huke said, no hesitation. I'm pushing right through this plane. I'm popping the 2-piece. iLLeY gave me first blood. iLLeY gets the second. He stepped up huge for that in that search and destroy right there for his team. Pretty sure he just dropped chopsticks. Now they found themselves up 2-0 in the series.
I like that. Chopsticks. Girl, I like that, man. That's good. But no, man, what iLLeY and Shotzzy, really, and we talked about it. It was a great team effort, really, in regards to just a number of different highlight plays. We talked about iLLeY kind of having a few moments where maybe he was kind of the reason why they lost the round, but at the same time, also had so many more plays where he was the difference maker. Same thing with Shotzzy, same thing with Huke. Just really great overall team performance out of the Empire. We talked about their search and destroy coming into today. Could it be better? Could it start to be improved versus what has been a better search and destroy team as of late in the Mutineers? But as you called it, chopsticks coming through from iLLeY. Great stuff coming in from the young gun. What puts up also 2,100 damage as what Mutineers, they were feeling all of that presence pretty much every single round, buddy.
Yeah, he was opening up with first blood, you know, sliding in with that submachine gun. He was just having the Mutineers players thinking of where he could possibly be the entire round. Remember, the first defensive round, he pushes through that A Street. Second defensive round, he camps on B-bomb with a sub. Then eventually, the rest of the defensive rounds, he sits all the way back A, but he was just getting first bloods with that Crimsix, really making the game easier for not only him, but for his submachine gun players to be the aggressors that they were, and eventually close out that match.
That's right, man. That's a great call. And let's go and revisit really what was a great map all the way around for iLLeY, of course, here with our U.S. Army tactical play. We'll revisit that round number 7. Again, one of the big moments for iLLeY kind of throughout this game. We talked about him kind of being that island player, but in this sequence here, Study, what do you got?
Yeah, it turns into Slack eventually in a 1v2 situation, and Slack knew exactly what he needed to do. He has to just keep the guy off bomb, but the positioning out of Crimsix, he was able to get that first blood. You see him right here, able to get the one on Shotzzy. Now it's a 1v2, but you see what he has to do. 12 seconds remaining on the clock. He just backs up to the opposite side of the plane. He knows exactly what he needs to do. It's just eliminate that player off bomb. He wins this first gunfight on Crimsix, but iLLeY gets the bomb playing off. He gets the gun up in his hands quick, comes back with the challenge, and is able to win that huge 1v1 to switch the momentum into their favor.
Yeah, and a great, kind of moment there for Crim. I know in regards to, overall kills versus loss, or, kills versus deaths, it wasn't maybe the same performance that, a few of his other counterparts had, but just overall, a great team effort out of the Dallas Empire, finding themselves in a 2-0 lead. Can Florida respond here in our checkmate control, or will this be a sweep for the Empire? We'll find out right after this.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenni, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenni.com/gaming.
Snapbacks, strapbacks, and knits. Get ready to rep your squad with the all-new CDL headwear collection, available exclusively at Mitchell and Ness. Oh boy, tell you what, Standy, these hats are absolutely
good, man.
fine. No cap, ladies and gentlemen. These hats are.
No cap.
Woo,
I need one.
these are sick. I'm looking at that Empire
Need
one right
those.
now. Oh, that is nice. Thieves and OpTic. Still to come, but hey man, we gotta get back in this series. You gotta get a little bit away from that. Get that off the screen just for a moment. It's getting too nice. What man, we gotta talk about Skies, right? He has kind of been the guy when we talk about X Factor, when we talk about just kind of the Mutineers position, the way that they're kind of playing in series. It comes down to their guy, right? It comes down to Caesar Skies Bueno investing in his game, and really Florida, they've been investing in him quite a bit. As we take a look at his X Factor, man, for the Mutineers, clearly #1. But man, we take a look at that, in really pretty much every single mode, especially that Search and Destroy, a 1.4 to a 0.62, and now coming into that control, it doesn't get any crazier, man. Skies is that guy for this team right now.
Yeah, Skies is definitely that guy, and unfortunately in that Search and Destroy, he was left in multiple 1v3s.
He was,
it's not really an easy task to get done if you're a player of his caliber. He's still invested in his game. Hopefully he's able to show that in this control. Being down 0-2 versus the Empire, who just won a Search and Destroy.
Hey.
Let's give him a round of applause for that. But like I said, he needs to be able to bring it to be able to fight back into this series here.
Yeah,
This map #3.
Without a doubt, man. And of course, we're going back to Checkmate. So again, the ARs, they're not going away. They're just going to continue to be brought out. And we talk about Checkmate control again for Dallas Empire. It's still somewhat good for them, right? 1-0 right now for Dallas. But when you take a look at Florida, they've got quite a few reps on this, right? 4-2 for the boys over on the Mutineers side. And one also note to make about the Florida Mutineers in regards to their control, they've won 5 out of their last 6, and 4 of those have been on Checkmate. So they've got a lot of reps here. We talked about Skies, a number of different guys who are going to be big for the Mutineers to close out this game. But again, they've got a lot of games on this map and mode combination. They've been looking good overall on Checkmate. It is going to be a tall task here for the Dallas Empire to close out this 3-0 sweep. Again, momentum on their side. And what, man, if Florida, if they can walk away with this early starting round, they could be in a pretty good position because, again, when we talk about offense, it's never going to be easy on Checkmate, especially here for some control. But if you're the Mutineers, you get some good highlights, you get some good moments. They could be in a much better position, but they start to line up, as that's going to be 2 for Huke, and that's the 3rd as well.
Yeah, so now you're going to see the Dallas Empire just being aggressive towards that 8 point. They're already about to get their first tick in. Huke's trying to work towards some streaks nice and early. And if you're the Mutineers, you were just expecting the Dallas Empire to play really aggressive. They don't. They take their time to make sure that their initial push is going to work out for them. And now they're 1 tick away from closing out this 8 point, but the Mutineers able to slow that down, get a nice forward dead. Currently Neptune on a 3 spree.
A much needed recovery there out of the Mutineers. As the rookie, going big early on for the Mutineers. We talked about a number of different rookies that have been so big for their teams. Neptune, well, he's been with the Mutineers since the start of the season. Again, at times can just take over maps, can be that difference maker. Maybe if it's not going to be Skies in this particular map, maybe it can be Neptune. Obviously in Search and Destroy, he's been great on Checkmate. Maybe he can do the same on Control. By the way, 25 seconds left, as we've really just been kind of vamping back and forth. It has been all Florida, as that's now 3 in a row right now for Neptune, sitting on 7-2. And Dallas, they're starting to get picked off out of their spawn. 22-16 currently in lives. Dallas, they are just struggling to get out of their base. Everywhere they go, they're getting met with AR shots, Study.
Yeah, Dallas Empire, they just need to stop giving up these kills because Awakening's on a 5 spree. And just in case it does go to that round number 5, the fact that they were able to win that round by at least 12 kills there can be really huge. It does get pushed all the way to the very end. You saw Huke making some phenomenal shots, trying to make the play to try to capture this A point nice and early. But the Mutineers, they were able to get 4 down and just hold ever since. Good defensive hold right there out of the Florida.
That just goes to show, man, how great defense is on this in this mode, right? We talk about it, like Dallas off to a great start. Well, like Huke starts off 3-0. We're saying, okay, cool, they're 2 ticks through over on A. Well, they get 4 down, and just ever since then, Florida, they punish them. Which, you know what? Props to Florida, right? They're able to realize it. They get the nice angles. They set up properly. But, again, it's just if you are on that offensive side, just at any moment, you go 3, you go 4 down, it can really start to cause issues. And, again, on offense, a lot of times you're trying to make the plays. You're trying to set up different situations, and it can be hard to kind of manage the entire team. It's obviously where communication can be a major part of it. But really, when we hop into this next round of offense, it is Florida out of the gates early, getting some great time over at B. But it's Shotzzy there to finally silence things. Kind of what maybe a similar play to what we saw Neptune do last round. Starting to change things up, as again, it's Shotzzy, the Astro MVP from last season. He's starting to heat up as Huke again, his SMG duo, starting to light things up as well. It literally looks exactly like the last round that we just witnessed, just flip-flop from that A to B point, man.
Yeah, man, just back and forth, man. Now it's all about how Florida can be able to break out of this. Still kills going in favor of the Dallas Empire. That's going to be 3 down once again. You see the positioning out of Huke is going to spawn all those players consistently at this blue side. So if you're the Mutineers, you just need to try to fight off this live. They lost that first round by 12, and already Dallas have an 11 kill advantage. Make it 12 now. 30 seconds still remaining. They can grow this kill lead. Every single kill is going in the kill feed in favor of Dallas. Every single player is working towards some streaks. No one is going to kill them. Finally, one's going to drop. But if you're Florida, this is bad. Everyone on the side of Dallas Empire has some streaks, and eventually they're going to drop. But wow, what a round out of Dallas in this defensive hold here.
What was that? What?
Oh
what
my
was that?
God.
Florida? Maybe? Maybe. All right, it's 23-6. Okay, all right, there we have it. I gave it a little bit of some ump there toward the end, but what? I think they died like 7 times in that round, Study. 7 times.
That was unbelievable.
It was like 28-16. It was like a 15 kill streak for the entire team. Observers, you're going to have to show us.
Communication just has to be there.
You're just going to have to show us who has streaks, man. Okay, this is, that is without a doubt one of the better defensive rounds that we have seen. Yeah, man, that hurts. It hurts quite a bit.
That one hurts. That one hurts Florida a little bit. But the good
Ouch.
thing is, they're going into defense now. Now they need to try to dominate this round the same way they did on the first round. And have the potential to put themselves in an offense to close it out. You're going to see a different approach now from the Dallas Empire. They're going to send 3 players over towards that A site. Crimsix taking his sweet time in the back of the plane, trying to make sure he catches anybody pushing out that right wing. He's not going to read the player pushing up the left, but he's going to take one down. So now some more ticks and more progression is coming at this A point.
Just a matter of Florida cut down the farthest pushed up player. Again, it's iLLeY. Unfortunately, he drops. That was 2 that enter in toward his screen pretty quick. Shotzzy with the nice return. You see Dallas a little bit more coordinated. And I will say again, it's kind of been these early push-ups for the offense and then just all-out defensive holds. Dallas doing good just to at least keep one player alive, right? They're just kind of keeping a lifeline on the map just to make sure that map positioning can't be sacrificed. But as the A side player drops, Huke falls as well. Really, it's Crim. Last player up, again, did earn that artillery, by the way. So he did hit 7 in a row. It's met with some SMG fire, 27 seconds left. Huke able to find a pick onto Awakening. iLLeY there as well. So a much needed and possibly final push out of Dallas as they've in to make their way up toward A, as they do lose top plane control. Crim puts in 2 big ones. Unfortunately, one of them happened to be on his own teammate, so rather unfortunate as down the stretch we go. 5 live advantage for Florida. Dallas not in a great spot to possibly hit the point. One final player is going to be in the plane. Shotzzy does stay alive, but there's just no time to hop inside of the point. Back and forth we go. 3 rounds in and 3 defensive holds out of our 2 teams.
And even though Dallas Empire lose that offensive round, they only lost that by 5 lives. Keep in mind, they dominated their very first defense. They were down 5 lives on that round. They come out and do the same exact thing that they did on their very first defensive round. They're definitely going to have that going into a round number 5. What can Florida do a little different, though, this time? They almost had that B point nice and early. They let Shotzzy break in from the bottom of the plane, open up with a 2-piece, eventually the 3rd, to shut down that push. But the Dallas Empire were not ready for it. Will they try to execute that B play right off the rip again?
Guns out early. You see, like I said, a much more passive play off the start. Neptune putting in some nice shots, but it's Shotzzy who's there to back on up. Crim again with these major kills that just break open the setups from Florida. Takes down Slacked over at that box side. And now again, could we see the full Nelson start to get strapped on in, as it is early in the round, but again, based off what we saw last time, Florida to do everything they can to try and break on out. You see much more collective effort, but again, it's Crim, 14-9, tries to go for the quick chow on his Slack, but while he falls, the presence is felt. That is going to be 3 down, though, for Florida. A great sequence finally coming in from one of our offensive teams, and Neptune, he grabs top plane control as well.
Now that's all the players from Dallas Empire spawning out towards back P5. You see Crimsix open up with the first blood. Mutineers players trying to work double the trouble. Have 1 player on B. Slack's going to win a huge 1-on-1 there to keep the time going in their favor. Finally get their first tick. See that player from the Dallas Empire. We're trying to push through that A side, but he was going to drop. iLLeY with 2 now. 25 seconds remaining on this clock. Dallas Empire only have a 3 live advantage. If they can hold this, they should be able to get defense. So far, iLLeY and Huke able to take down another 2. 12 seconds on the clock for Florida. Try to break in towards one of these points. They just don't have anyone in position to do so. 2 are going to drop once again, and it's looking like Dallas Empire are going to walk away with this defense and have that defense going into that round number 5.
Yeah, what they go +6 in lives in this last round, and what really based off of that earlier defense, you like their chances, right? This should be them in the final defense, unless we just totally messed up, which again, I absolutely am horrible at math, but I trust you, Study. Like I said, you have a photographic memory when it comes down to Call of Duty. I swear you can reference every single play, but I don't know, man. What, it has been obviously all defense, as we expect, right, when it comes down to a map like Checkmate. What do you need to see here out of the Mutineers, right? Again, it's round 5, big spot for them. This could be the 3-0 from the Dallas Empire. What needs to be the play here from Florida to start things off?
The break-off. The break-off needs to be the most important thing on this map right now. What are they going to decide to do? That early B push worked for them last time. It's looking like they're going to commit towards it once again, but this time Shotzzy has read it. So Shotzzy's going to be in position to get 2. He's going to be able to take down 1, able to take down the 2nd. Trying to go for the 3rd, able to take down Skies as well. That's going to slow down the push from Florida. Only player left alive is going to be Neptune at that A site. Every other player is spawning out towards back yellow. But Shotzzy, what a way to start round 5.
Yeah, and that play, literally right there, as that's going to be 4 in a row, 5 in a row for Shotzzy. Does get taken down, but again, we look back at the plays that maybe kind of defined the round that very well. That opening sequence where he catches those 2 players over at that bottom B wing very well may have given the Empire the 3-0, but still, 40 seconds left for Florida. They do get some presence now kind of toward that lower street. Slacked hopefully looks to try and make the play. I say hopefully for Florida's chances. As soon as he cops on this A capture point, you see he's going to reveal his position. So he's trying to be extra careful, giving the callouts to his teammates. But Neptune, he loses the fight inside of mid-plane. Granted, Skies is there for the trade, but you got to go 4 strong. Awakening's there for the nice angle onto Crim, as the AR duel will be awarded toward the Mutineers. But here come the streaks, the presence, the awareness for Florida as they have to dance around the point. Still holding things down, as this is going to be their 2nd tick. Dallas will look to see what their strategy is, and they will look to give this one up. So finally, we see a point secured And our final round, it will be Florida getting that extra minute on the clock. Now the question remains, what can they do with it as Neptune and Slat combine for a nice double?
And now you see Florida with the transition over. They'd have to try to eliminate iLLeY out of their spawn. See number 2, he's really focusing on that kill. Skies is currently hurt. iLLeY's trying to go for the challenge, but Awakening, great team shots, able to eliminate him. Here comes the first take on to B. Huke trying to do everything he can from bottom wing. Now it's Shotzzy's turn. Shotzzy's going to walk in. He's able to take down 1. Dallas Empire currently have a 1 live advantage with a minute left on this clock. They're trying to do everything they can to try to keep the Mutineers players off, but they only need 2 ticks. It comes in another artillery strike from Huke. Trying to get any information, any kills with that streak. He's able to take down 1, so now this should give up a little bit of map control that the Florida Mutineers had. Should allow the players from Dallas Empire to push up. iLLeY's able to get 1. Here comes the second. iLLeY trying to go for the third. Slack's going to be able to trade it. iLLeY's going to challenge, but iLLeY's going to drop as well. Slack with a great play. Might be the opening that the Florida Mutineers players need to get on this point.
Oh, Slack at least stays alive. In that moment, Dallas, the streaks were huge. They play off of them, and it's just, again, these SMGs coming in from the flank toward this bottom B wing, causing problems. Mutineers getting caught with their pants down. 28 seconds left, and it has to be focused play. Huke, he drops toward the top side. That's 2 off of spawn now for Dallas as Crim loses it. iLLeY, can he make the play? Getting challenged from the back, but he wins the fight up close. Can he win the fight on the skies? No. The trade, back and forth we go, 6-8. As Dallas reclaim control toward bottom plane. Neptune, he tries to get up close. He falls as well. Awakening, 3 seconds left. He has to get to the point. He has to get to the point. He actually jumps over a player. He jumps over a player, and it's Dallas who walk away with the series. 3 up and 3 down. We never left checkmate, and it's because of plays like this from Shotzzy. Abusing and dominating the Mutineers with this SMG. Unreal stuff coming in from this Dallas Empire roster. Again, we never saw anything but checkmate. I may have jinxed it off the start study, but just great plays despite what was without a doubt our best offensive round there out of the Mutineers.
And that's, if you're the Dallas Empire, that's how you bounce back. You win your search and destroy, you win the control that you also drop versus the Røkkr. Just get the job done, man. They've improved in every single game mode. That first hardpoint was all about the breaking. They get the job done there. Yes, indeed, iLLeY went huge. And that control, it was Shotzzy and Huke, man, with those submachine guns. Every single time Florida they had a setup, Shotzzy and Huke broke it. Especially was that breakoff with Shotzzy opened it with a 3-piece. You could just tell the momentum was on their favor. And congratulations at Dallas on closing it out 3-0.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, there's a number of different teams kind of coming into today specifically. Obviously, we talked about OpTic Chicago. Same thing with Dallas Empire. A much-needed kind of sign of life there out of the Empire camp, and their 4th sweep of the season. Without a doubt, one of the biggest points where they really needed kind of what is this major change-up. Again, it's probably been a decent amount of time since we've seen them walk away with the sweep. Again, they lose that series versus the Røkkr, kind of to close out what was a very interesting stage 2, week 2. They come in today versus a hot Mutineers team who had yet to drop a map in 6 in a row. Looking good, but Dallas, they slammed the door right in their face. Again, it's kind of this onslaught from the young guys. It's Shotzzy, iLLeY, and Huke all going 23+. The damage, without a doubt, was felt. But again, man, to me, it kind of comes down to just those clutch plays toward the bottom side of the plane. The opening sequence from Florida was, without a doubt, commendable, but it really was just kind of these sequences where Empire, they were just prepared, they read things, and from there, it was just the young guys making plays. And that's what you want to see, again, if you are an Empire fan.
Yeah, I still can't believe that first defensive round that the Dallas Empire were able to put together, man. They were up like 26-7. Every single player was on a 5-6 kill spree. That's just something you don't see often, especially versus another professional team. The Florida Mutineers just couldn't hang. They couldn't get the job done. Swift 3-0. Got to give a shout out to Clayster for this one, but Dallas Empire, man, that was different. They look good, man.
They do. They look good indeed. And one of those plays where they look great, we'll go ahead and revisit it now with our scuff play of the game. This one obviously coming in from the control, and really it's this last round. When Shotzzy sets up this play, just from there, you kind of feel the panic right from the Mutineers. He puts down 3, and then from there, as you referenced at study, that opening break that was so important for Florida instantly gets halted. And that's just what this player does, right? This is what happens when you are facing off against a player like Shotzzy. When he is hot, he's not just dominating you in the kill feed, but he's also ruining you with his positioning. A nice 5-0 start, again, out of our Astro MVP from last season.
Yeah, and it worked out for Florida. Like I said on that first round, they were able to get a couple ticks in, but the mid-game adjustments out of Dallas, they switch up Shotzzy positioning. He shuts down that whole push by himself that eventually goes into blue, forces all the players from Florida to spawn out towards back yellow, gets another 2, and just sets up his team, man. That's exactly what you want out of a player like Shotzzy with that aggressive SMG. Good way to end it out.
Way to end it out as we're going to take a look at our Group B standings, the way that things are kind of lining out right now. Dallas Empire, with that win, of course, are going to be sitting now at 3-1 atop of the group. Still waiting to see, obviously, the result that we will have today versus the Surge and OpTic Chicago. But hey, again, we cannot stress it enough. A major win out of the Empire, and I think what again, Study, the major conversation for them coming into this: can they win a search and destroy? Can they look good in a search and destroy? Can they improve on their decision making after losing that first blood? And I think they were able to answer all of those questions today with flying colors.
Yeah, they definitely were, man. And look at the standing. Everyone, like, say for instance, OpTic wins this game and they die at 2-2. It means 4 teams are at 2-2. Oh my God, this week's matches are going to be insane.
They are. And our final kind of game looking here is going to be versus Chicago OpTic for the Dallas Empire. Again, we'll kind of wait and see. Like, Empire says, hey man, we're waiting for you. We're waiting for you, OpTic. What are you going to be able to provide us with? As we'll go and take a look now at the Mutineers side of things, what their schedule is looking like. Again, a very difficult opponent here in the Dallas Empire, dropping this one in a 3-0 sweep, but still the Legion to face off against. A lot of questions on that Paris lineup. How are Florida going to be able to rebound coming into what is going to be a great kind of closing match out for the Mutineers? Again, this group just continues to get interesting. I know all those scenarios that we were talking about coming into today, they get changed up quite a bit, especially with that map count. A lot of things to be excited about in regards to this Group B. And again, man, we got a great matchup still to come. It's going to be a blast. Yeah. It's going to be a blast to see how that next series starts to come around. But hey, man, it's going to be great. Excited for it. But hey, folks, let's go ahead and talk about it, right? We talk about the CDL matches. We talk about how exciting that it can be to watch the games. But this year, when you watch Call of Duty League matches, you can earn in-game rewards like double XP all stage long. The longer you watch, the more you can earn. Make sure to link your Activision and YouTube accounts today. Folks, do it. I promise you. You do not lose anything from having these things linked, making sure that you can watch the game, you can earn rewards. Study last night, I was rocking double XP with Miles and Chance in League play. It was great, but someone who's way better than myself is going to be Shotzzy. It's going to be myself and him standing by, talking about that nice 3-0 victory as we'll be back with that interview in just a moment.
The Call of Duty League is presented by Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The US Army, what's your warrior?
This is your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. I'm Lando. Joining me is Shotzzy from the Dallas Empire. What, buddy? We talked not that long ago. One of the big talking points that we had in that conversation was kind of in reference to Search and Destroy. What a big win here out of the team today. And a lot of talk kind of coming into this week for your roster in that Search and Destroy mode. How do you feel about that conversation kind of going on in the community about your guys' Search and Destroy game and with that win today?
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with our Search and Destroy. It's not the greatest right now. You know, every single time we're practicing it. Going into this match, we've been practicing it as much as we can. And, slowly we've been seeing improvements. We're somewhat not on the same page on all the maps, but I feel like certain maps we're pretty good at. But, when we practice, we're going to be just focusing to be on the same page. And hopefully we get better and play in these, or hopefully get better to play in Stage 2 tournament.
Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. And one map in particular where you guys were without a doubt in sync was kind of that final control right over on Checkmate. In that last run in particular, right, you start off 5-0. At that point, right, we talk about offense, especially the Mutineers camp. It's about that opening break. You're able to ruin things, start things off 5-0. Did you feel that was kind of the play that ended things out, or was there another one in mind that kind of sealed the deal for you guys to complete the 3-0?
Yeah, that, and not only that, honestly, that one round where all my teammates were just going off, I think at one point it was like 27-6 or something like that. Our teammates got streaks. We kind of just like knew if we get defense round 5, we were easily gonna take it just by our streaks. So, it's crazy that my teams were able to do that. I don't think I've ever seen like a round like that. But that's like the one round that kind of just took us.
Yeah, right, man. It was like a good 15-16 team streak. It was unbelievable, to put it lightly. But obviously that particular kind of sequence leads you guys into the 3-0. A nice win here for the team. Now you guys move to 3-1, atop Group B for the moment. What message do you have for those that have kind of doubted the Dallas Empire Search and Destroy game? There's been a lot of talk, in the community about where does this team kind of stand now. What message do you have for them after that win here?
So yeah, the Dallas Empire fans, I appreciate every single one of you guys throughout, last year, this year. I will say that individually, I'm not performing as much as, to my potential. Later in the year, I definitely think that you guys will see, better from myself and, our team, and hopefully our S&D gets better throughout the year as well. But as always, appreciate you guys for, supporting us, and yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, 1.35, I think, is pretty good. We'll just go and put it that way. But that was our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Shotzzy, again, thanks so much for joining me, and congrats to you and the team on the win.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, folks, hey, that's one game down and another phenomenal one still to come. When we talk about Group B implications, it's going to have it all after the break. It is the Seattle Surge taking on OpTic Chicago. You do not want to miss it. And we'll have this series ready for you right after the break. Home Series. The beautiful Santa Monica Pier is setting us up for a lovely opportunity for our final series. Again, sunny California. It's, 70 degrees right now? Even virtually, it feels great from here. OpTic Chicago taking on the Seattle Surge, and what is going to be a great closeout to day one, again, of our LAG Home Series. And this is going to be our T-Mobile 5G weekly drop. This week, America's largest and fastest 5G network is giving you the chance to squad up with Octane and some league play, or drop in with the other Surge boys and some Warzone, maybe even some zombies. You have the ability to choose, and all that you have to do is text TMO Surge to 313131. All right, buddy, here we go. Again, what we talked about, you get the ability to play with the human turret. We talked about the drops, and you got all kinds of opportunities. And on top of that, we have got ourselves an excellent, excellent series. But two teams kind of currently going in somewhat of a different direction right now in regards to OpTic Chicago and the Seattle Surge. I don't know how to even start this one off, man, but it is going to be a phenomenal series. I know it.
Yeah, this is going to be a great series from top to bottom, man. Seattle, you know, they dropped a 3-2 series versus Dallas, but then they come back and they beat Paris Legion in a 3-0. Now, on the other side, you got OpTic, who haven't won a match since the last week. They're 0-6 so far in their last two matches, 0-6 map count. Nothing's just going right for them, and hopefully this is the turning point for them.
Yeah, and they have got a very difficult opponent that happens to sit on the other side. Again, kind of a slower start in Stage 1 for this team. But boy, have they rebounded so far in Stage 2. Let's go and put our hands together for the Seattle Surge. Lord, son! Finds himself another one!
Prestinni looking dangerous. He's just ripping the entirety of the Guerrillas. Wow! Aggressive is always Diamondcon. Head rip off. Looking to find a few more, but Gunless absolutely rips his way through the three of them. 249, 249, Seattle won!
Drown them out. Seattle Surge, they have been looking like a totally different team coming into Stage 2. What kind of finished last at the major, kind of in that top 12 positioning, but so far in Stage 2 study, again, you could not say that one team looks more different from Stage 1 to Stage 2 than when you talk about a team like Seattle. They're kind of looking like the team that we'd hoped that we would see when you got guys like Prestinni going off, Gunless having an excellent performance. I think what Prestinni right now is at a 1.29 in Stage 2. What is that kind of team chemistry? What is that kind of sequence right now for Seattle say about this team?
Right now, with Prestinni playing the way that he is and Gunless playing the way that he is, these guys have turned into a whole different roster, a well-oiled machine. And they were able to win their first control, not versus any other team, but the Dallas Empire. So they started off with that, and eventually they go on to win their second series versus Paris. Yeah. But these guys are just finding new footing. We saw Prestinni in the interview. He's just saying we're starting to click, and so far it's showing.
It is indeed definitely clicking right now for the Seattle Surge. And on the other side, again, it's been one team where it hasn't really clicked. And rather in that last week, Stage 2, Week 2, 0-6 in maps, 0-2 in series. In need of a rebound right now as our team on the other side. Let's go ahead and meet him, Chicago OpTic.
Almighty keeps it going normal. Looking fantastic. Envoy slaying his way through. Scump from up high, the king.
I'm out here doing what they thinking is irrational.
Really starting to run that score up.
I'm gonna make it back. I'm gonna make it back. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, OpTic Gaming are back. Chicago are a force to be reckoned with.
There's a look at OpTic Chicago. Again, a team that is in need of a major resurgence coming into, this one versus the Seattle Surge. Again, we know this team study top to bottom, without a doubt, a very, very solid roster, but just have had a very, very slow week. In their last one, again, we cannot reference it enough, back-to-back 3-0 losses.
Yeah, it just showed, like, when they were playing those matches, when we saw the Search and Destroys, for instance, Dashy and Envoy, they were in a 2v3 situation. They just put themselves in a position to challenge, and it's not the way you want to play that. You have the man advantage. We need to see more discipline out of this team. more awareness and just more teamwork, because obviously things just weren't clicking last week. Hopefully this week it's a little different.
Here are our maps and modes as well as our vetoes. We got Raid, Checkmate, Raid, Garrison, Hardpoint, and Raid, Search and Destroy to close things out. So we're going to be seeing quite a bit of Raid, especially if we get down to that final game 5. And we talk about Raid. This has kind of been, a great one for Chicago historically when we get into this first Hardpoint here in just a few moments. And again, Study, this has been a map combination for Chicago that's been great for them. 3-2 right now so far on the season, but this was also the same map that kind of when this issue began for OpTic Chicago. It was in that opening series versus the Minnesota Røkkr. Standy, it was his debut. OpTic lost this 250-81. We now revisit it, hoping for a much different looking OpTic Chicago team. Here we go, buddy. A lot of implications when we talk about Group B. A loss here for Chicago puts them in the losers bracket for that Stage 2 major. A lot of eyes on this team, as always, but especially right now. But it's Gunless starting things off in a nice way.
You're going to see Seattle right off the rip, able to win a couple engagements, able to take some time off of this P1 hardpoint. But OpTic right now still keeping spawn towards laundry, so they should not start panicking unless a lot of players drop. 2 are going to drop now. You're going to see Scump going for middle pillars. He's going to drop as well. They're still getting the spawns, and as I say that, Scump's going to be able to spawn out. You see the aggression from Seattle onto this laundry side, trying to flip these spawns. But as I say that, number player in 4 is going to be Gunless. Spawning out towards Garage. OpTic is still going to be fully set up for that P2 hardpoint. Just giving up 50 seconds on that P1 hardpoint is not ideal if you're OpTic starting this game.
And one thing that is nice if you are OpTic Chicago, granted you're going down, a good 50 off the start, is you have a chance to learn from what are your prior mistakes. We talked about it last time around, and it was those kitchen spawn losses. I think they lost 2 kitchen rotations and a garage rotation to Minnesota. And off the start, it is Seattle on that jungle flank who were able to make things interesting here off the rip. Still yet a second to go toward the OpTic side as they finally clear things out. They hop right inside of the HP and they say, not this time. A good play and a good rebound out of Chicago here as they're getting some much needed seconds.
Yeah, they just all flooded to the front there, won all the engagements, and eventually flipped those spawns in towards their favor. Now it's all about trying to hold off the push, and that's exactly what they're going to do. 3 players are going to drop now from Seattle. 20 seconds remaining on this clock. If you're this number 4 player,